I'm really excited because I just got home from the flea market. I love the flea market. I love digging and searching for all kinds of stuff to use in my art. So I want to show you what I got. I got this picture. Well, it's kind of a picture, but it's really it's a print and a poem. And it's called Other Mother. And it says, "You are the other mother I received the day I wed your son. And I just want to thank you, Mom, for the loving things you've done. You have given me a gracious man with whom I share my life. You are his lovely mother, and I'm his lucky wife. You used to pat his little head, and now I hold his hand. You raised in love a little boy, and then gave me a man." So I'm going to make this project for my mother-in-law. And I love the colors in this, so part of that's going to be the inspiration for this project. I also found, I always buy books, especially old books when I can find them cheap. I never pay more than $1 for them. But I also especially look for books that have pictures in them, and I make sure that the pages are kind of weathered and aged. It doesn't matter if it has all the pages in it or not to me, because I'm just going to rip these out anyway and use this in my project. I also found a whole bag of fabric scraps. So don't even know really what all is in here, but the colors and everything looked really cool, so I bought this really cheap. I do know that it had some cheesecloth in it, and then I went ahead and dyed this cheesecloth to make it kind of a tea color. And let's see what else. Oh, got some cardboard. And this is a project that I made in my book. It's my next book coming up. It's called Mixed Media Inspirations. And it's left over from a project, so I'm going to incorporate this into the project. You'll learn how to make this part in the book. And I had this little Tweety bird around for quite a while, and I thought I would use this because it'll go really nice with this. So what I did is I went ahead and scanned this so that I can use this in other projects, and I printed it out small. I'm going to put together a collage of the different pieces. So what I'll need is I'm going to use this as my basis. So keep little cardboard boxes around, and they provide just a wonderful amount of texture. I love texture, especially in mixed media. I think it's all about layering and texture. And when you pull the top layer off, you expose a lot of really neat texture that will make this project look really, really aged. And I'm going to kind of give these edges this is pretty tough cardboard. It's kind of a random torn look. Because what I'm going to do is decoupage. Hope I didn't make that too small. Oops. No, that'll be fine. I'm going to decoupage this onto the back, but I think I'm going to add a little bit of text. Grab a piece of paper here. So let's tear this up. Now you see why I never pay more than $1 for my books, because I tear them to pieces. So I'm just going to add maybe that, something like that there. I don't like points. Like this. And then, oops, something like that. I think what I'm going to do first is I am going to distress these edges. You could even, if you printed this out on parchment paper, you could burn these edges. That'd be a real nice effect. You could tea dye this paper. Lots of things you can do. I try to pull everything around me that I think I want to use. Sometimes I don't always use it all, but it gives me kind of a springboard of ideas that kind of develop as I go through the project. And you'll find a similar project to this in my book, because I'll show you how to do this heart. I love this, the heart out of chicken wire. All right, so let me put a little bit of glue and let's secure this down a little bit. I did say I was going to decoupage it, but I think I'm just going to secure it with a little bit of tacky glue. Love my tacky glue. And that look. There we go. My baby bear, my little Charlie bear, is pawing at me because he wants to see what I'm doing right now. Hang on, baby bear. Come here. Come here, baby bear. This is my friend. He hangs out in the shop with me. This is Charlie Bear. Can you say hi, Charlie? Say hi. Say hi, Charlie. Charlie has a special spot in the studio. It's usually right over there on top of my little dresser that I keep all my mixed media stuff in. But unfortunately, I've got all kinds of stuff on Charlie's spot, and he just doesn't know quite what to do. Do you, baby bear? Do you, baby bear? Oh, yeah, you're so sweet. I love your kisses. Okay, go play. You'll probably hear him playing. Alright, so that's kind of the basis. That's super simple, huh? I love the torn look of the cardboard because it gives it such a nice little, frayed. It kind of softens it up. I love that. I know that I want to add a little layer of texture. I love, love, love cheesecloth because it's like vintage in a bottle, or maybe it's not in a bottle, but it's like instant vintage. You can just add so much prettiness so quickly when you work with cheesecloth. And so I'm going to layer this on. You can see here. And you just have to tack that down with a little glue. And make sure that you're not covering up your words. Oops. And I'm going to add some glittery paper flowers to this too. It's kind of fun to train your eye to think of things as textures rather than the object themselves. So maybe you're looking at it for the color or for the texture. In this case, I'm using the Spanish moss for both. I'm using it for the color and for the texture. Adds a little bit of organic to it, and you can just glue it right down with a little bit of tacky glue. Super easy. And again, make sure if you're using a poem or anything with words, you want to make sure that you're not necessarily covering up your words. Kind of defeats the purpose. Put a little tacky glue down on my space there. There we go. It's going to get a little messy. Put the lid back on that. Okay. And if I want to, I can even back this with a little bit of burlap. I thought maybe I would use burlap. Maybe not. Well, actually, I really like it. So, play around with everything that you have, all your fibers and your fabrics and whatnot. I'm going to fray this up a little bit. Just pull some of those strings away. Burlap is a really cool craft product. Love it, love it, love it. Love making tote bags out of it. I love it because it reminds me of the beach. It's kind of got a sandy color. It comes in a lot of different colors. Super cool. And let's just add this to our collage there. Gives it a little bit more vintage feel. I like vintage, I think, because it forces me to remember my childhood, good times. I had a great childhood. I'm sure had a lot of fun growing up here in Branson. Alright, so pretty much got that collage done. I've got some texture, I've got fraying, make sure my words aren't covered up. That's always good. Made a mess, that's always good. Now, I'm going to start looking at some of my flowers that I have here. Well, I've only got a couple left. Well, that'll be fine. That'll work. I got a purple one. Hope she likes purple. And I've got some leaves that will put in there. So what you're going to want to do is kind of arrange this flat, because what we'll do here in just a little bit is we will open up the back of this heart. It's hard to see, but I've got a hole in here, and then you kind of have to arrange it from the back forward. So that's really the only tricky part of the whole project. Add some of my hearts. Oh, Charlie. And I think little birdie, little Tweety bird, he'll sit in there and kind of nest. Here, maybe I'll build him up a little bit. So we can always add these flowers a little bit later when I see how I want my arrangement. So after you make your bird, your chicken wire heart, it's really easy. Or you can find one. You can also use a bird cage. That would be another alternative. So kind of challenge yourself to what you can find at your flea market. I'm going to add some cheesecloth here to the bottom. I'm adding cheesecloth because it's going to kind of stop everything from falling through the holes. That's always a good thing. You don't want it falling through the cracks. Okay, it's not wanting to work with me here. For some reason. There we go. I needed to pull it out wider. And then, whoops, give it a look on the front. See, the front doesn't look so good. So, because again, it's real easy to start designing as it looks towards you. It's kind of a challenge to design it away from you or the opposite way. So you got to kind of move that around and think backwards. There we go. And then you gotta kind of weave this in somehow. I think I need to make my opening a little bigger. And this can bend, so maybe that's what I need to do, is to get it to bend. There we go. Alright, it's taking shape now. It's just going to take me a little while to kind of work that and get that exactly how I want. Maybe I do want to pull a little bit of this Spanish moss out here. But it's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, be careful when you're working with the chicken wire, because some of the areas can get just a little bit sharp. So I have it all arranged just like I like it. And what I need to do now is I'm going to go back and I'm just going to fold the back over and kind of close it back as good as I can. You can take a pair of pliers and I don't want to tilt this forward because I'll mess up my arrangement. But you can take a pair of pliers and you can just wind these little wire pieces around to secure them. You can trim off any leftover ends that you have with a pair of wire cutters. What you want to make sure is that you don't have any anything that pokes, any exposed sharp elements. You can kind of tuck those under or turn them inside the project, and that way you won't have to worry about getting your fingers pinched there. Now to hang this, you can either hang this on the wall if you want to just, put a couple little little nails in the wall, or I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it with a little ribbon. And keep the ribbon neutral. So just give it a little tie there. And finish it up over here. Now remember, you can get all the project instructions for this particular project on my website at lindapetersondesigns.com, also at cooltocraft.com. I'm Linda Peterson, sharing tips and techniques and things to inspire you so that you too can keep living a creative life.